Lisa Crawford. I'm based in Hamilton, Ontario. I'm an emerging producer. My first show I pitched, Pink Is In, was picked up by one of the local networks. And it was such a pleasure to be on your show, Keith. I love what you're doing. I think it's great that you set such an inspiration to others. I always say to people, believe in yourself, follow your dreams, and it will happen.
My name is Marty Lindsey. I'm on the KeithAndrewNetwork. I'm very happy to be on this wonderful show. I'm not saying that tongue-in-cheek. I actually think it's really cool what Keith Andrew is doing, and can't wait to come back on and chat. And
people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are, who you want to be. To prove to them it's them out to something. With that being said, it's PG-13. So the first question I want to say, the first thing I want to promote is this is episode 896. So that being said, the first question I want to ask you is what attracted you to begin your career as an actor and producer?
Well, this was a childhood dream I had, and as most people, they just grow up and they end up doing other careers. But it was after my son left home, and then I said, it's me time. So I said, let me do something I'm really passionate about. And film business was always something I was passionate about. So I started just doing some background work, working as an extra, just to get, learn about the business. But I was on a set with Ken. It was one of James Franco films. And I saw the actors and I said, you know what, I think I can do that. So I took acting lessons. I became an actor, but my real passion was producing. So in 2018, I produced my first 2 films, followed by, in 2019, I produced another 2 short films. And I came up with the idea Pink Is In, and I was very fortunate that it got picked up by one of the local TV networks.
No, that's very cool, very interesting. What else can you tell us about the film that you're working on?
The TV series we're working on, Pink Is In, it's a comedy about a woman's prison that's based in Hamilton, Ontario. It's a really dysfunctional prison where the warden has to find creative ways to keep the prison afloat. It's a really wacky comedy. It's a little bit of a throwback to the 70s, 80s British style comedy.
That's really cool. British humor is different from American humor.
Yes, definitely. What's interesting about Canadian humor is that you have the American humor and you have the British humor. Canadian humor is almost a blend of the two.
Oh, I never knew that. So the next one I want to ask you is, what has been your greatest achievements in your acting career?
I would say from an acting point of view, I was fortunate to have an upgraded role on the TV series Umbrella Academy. I was very fortunate. I got my first union credits on that show. It was a role that just started just being a background role, but the producers and director really were happy about my performance, so they upgraded me to an actor role. And that was, to me, from an acting point, that was quite an achievement.
No, absolutely. So then next one I want to ask is, tell us what you're working on right now. I know you have your picture behind you of your film what you're working on, but what else are you working on?
Well, we are working on Pink is In, our TV series. We're going into our second season. Last year, we produced just 4 episodes, and now the Bell 5 TV One has greenlit us to do another 4 episodes. Besides that, I'm also hoping to do my very first feature film. So we do have 2 feature films in the work. One of them is a Christmas film that we're really hoping that we're going to be filming it next year.
You also mentioned that you are a producer. So the next question I want to ask you is, what is your experience writing for a television show?
Before the film business, I actually worked almost 20 years in the casino industry, and I was involved in the upper managements. I managed 5 casino operations in the Caribbean, but that experience really helped me as a producer, because as a producer, you're the one that has to sort of run the whole show. You have to, it's about bringing all the right talent together to create movie magic.
And what attracted you to begin your career as a producer?
As I said, as a child, I had a dream about growing up in South Africa. That I said, one of these days I want to make it to America and go to Hollywood and become a filmmaker. It was more, my interest was more about being behind the camera and producing. What I love about producing is just bringing the people together to create that movie magic. And just to see a project from start to end is a really, to me, it is such a fulfilling experience.
Absolutely. And actually, do you have any upcoming films that you're continuing going to work on?
Well, it is just Pink is In. That's our main project that we're working on at the moment. As I said, we've done 4 episodes. We're going to be filming another 4 episodes, and we do have a distributor in the United States, and he's been pitching it to the networks in the United States. What we're really hoping for is to get picked up from a network in the United States. And for us to continue this production, we're predicting to go for at least 8 seasons. And it's such a great opportunity when you can do something that you're so passionate about.
I agree. If you do something you love, it actually makes things a lot better. So, but that actually brings up the next question I want to ask you is, what's talking for something good? Well, apparently you're following your dreams, but as being an actor, what is next? Do you want to do voiceovers? Do you want to just what about acting and then in the acting business that you want to do your career?
I do have in our production, I actually do play one of the roles. I play the role of Nezrenko in the prison. I'm the sort of top dog's muscle. I protect her in prison. I think everybody's, as an actor, a lot of people, one of their dreams is to get onto a series that goes for a good few years where you can really focus on the one role. And that's what I'm hoping to do as an actress over the next few years, is just to work on that role. It's not the big role in the series, but it's actually a fun role that I'm playing.
What's fun really about the entertainment world? What is the most difficult thing about being an actor?
For me personally, you have to learn the lines. You have to remember all the lines, and that's something that I do. It is a challenge. I know people have the different techniques, but sometimes if you do feel good about the role, remembering the lines sometimes does come easier. That's why in some ways I'm focusing more. I think my strength is more in producing than being an actress. So that's where I want to focus on. And I like to give other people an opportunity. I think it's so satisfying giving people a chance. Some people that aren't given the chance, and just giving them that chance and seeing them excel and grow and move on. That's brings me joy as well, if I can help somebody further their career as well.
What are some of the challenges you have experienced in being an actor?
One of the things I have had, I am a transgender female. One of the difficulties I had is that when I was applying for roles as a transgender person, they were sometimes saying I didn't look too transgender enough. And then when I was applying for roles, female roles, sometimes they were saying I'm too tall, I'm too big for the role. So that was a bit of a challenge, but I see the film industry is changing. They sort of are adapting to allow more diversity in the productions. So that is one of the challenges I did do. But it is being an actress is a challenge, because whenever you're applying for one role, you know that there's probably maybe 100 people applying for that, and that's only one position, that's going to be filmed. So that is a big challenge for people who in the acting business.
Well, because let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Let's talk about being stereotyped. How have you overcome being stereotyped?
Well, one of the things I have tried to do is just to show people that we are normal. I know people have the stereotypical that a transgender person must be this way, must look this way, or act this way. But I just want people to know that we're only human.
Absolutely. Now we're being joined by our other guests. I just want to say, Marty, welcome. So the first question I want to ask you.
Hi, Marty.
Hey.
What attracted you to begin your career as a professional actor?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I didn't.
What attracted you to begin your career as a professional actor?
When did I begin it, or what prompted me?
What attracted you?
Oh, attracted me. As a young person, I was an athlete, and there's a lot of similarities to acting and being an athlete. I think it takes the same kind of dedication, passion, and sort of grit to stick with it. So I love storytelling. I since I was a little kid, I just would get lost in stories. That was the biggest thing for me ever since about 8 or 9 years old. So.
No, absolutely. And the other question I want to ask is, what has been your greatest achievement as being a professional actor?
Well, I got to be on a great show called Better Call Saul, which that was a big deal for me. I play a lawyer on that show, and that was a big milestone. You feel like you spend all those years kind of cutting your teeth doing smaller independent projects and smaller parts in TV shows and theater and that kind of stuff. But Better Call Saul was a big kind of coming out party for me. So it was very cool.
Absolutely. There's a lot of fans who like Better Call Saul. For me, I never got into it. I was more of a Breaking Bad person. I always thought he was better in Breaking Bad than being on his own. But
yeah, yeah, Breaking Bad, it's hard to compete with it. It's, arguably one of the best, if not, I don't know, one of the best TV series of all time. So when they decided to offshoot the Saul Goodman character, I just thought it was just a genius idea, because he's such a three-dimensional character. So it made a lot of sense.
I agree. And do you consider that one of your greatest achievements?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's I got to work with some of my heroes, and Bob being one of them, and Michael McKean, and I got to know Dennis Boutsikaris, who plays my boss on the show, and he's a incredible guy. We've become friends. And so, yeah, one of them, for sure, I got to write and direct a few of my own projects. So that's been, rewarding, or those experiences were very rewarding for me. To bring my stories to fruition. So everything's important. Every little step is important to me. So.
Yeah, I agree. What are you working on right now?
Let's see, this year was kind of a pretty big year. I did a pilot in Georgia called Soul Wars, which is kind of a action adventure, Indiana Jones-ish style TV pilot. It follows a father and daughter, and it should be a lot of fun. So that's in post-production. I'm back on a show that I can't mention because of non-disclosure agreements this season, but it's the 6th and final season of this particular show. So that'll be out next year. When it comes out, maybe we can talk then, and I can talk to you about my experience. But just did a commercial for Kia. And what else have I done? Kind of losing track of everything. Auditioning. I'm auditioning a ton. I'm on hold for a Western. That's why I've got a kind of a big beard, and it's called Rust. It's Alec Baldwin is the kind of the main character in it, and it's a really good script. So hoping I can sign on the dotted line and get out there and work with those guys.
No, absolutely. I know you joined with us the last 13 minutes into the left in the show, so I'm going to give you the remaining time. But the other question I want to ask you is, you mentioned you were in Better Call Saul, but what is your other, you've been so much, but what is your experience in being on television? Do you like being on television, or do you like being in movies?
I like them both. They're definitely different kind of animals. Usually it has to do with time and pace and how much you have to get done on any given day. With TV, you're just cranking through pages and pages, usually sometimes 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 10 pages a day, which is a lot. 10 pages a day is a lot for any TV show. So it's really just with film, I love it because they really allow for you to back to the time. It allows for you to immerse yourself into a character and to the scene and feel out all the nuances of everything that's going on. Nothing's really forced, at least not usually. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you're under a time crunch, but those are the two biggest differences. I love TV because it kind of reminds me a little bit of theater. You have to move quick, and it doesn't give you a lot of time to think and be too methodical about what you do, which I think is good, because I think once you start thinking too much, you get in your head, and that's not a good thing for anybody, especially an actor.
No, absolutely. I'm just looking at your IMDb. You are, in 2015, you play a SWAT officer.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce the name of the movie. That's why I just said SWAT officer.
Sicario.
No, go ahead.
It's called Sicario. That was a big one for me too. That's with Emily Blunt and Benicio del Toro. Josh Brolin's in that one, and John Bernthal. It's just some big old famous people in that film.
What can you tell us about The Preacher?
Preacher was incredible. That's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and it's based on the graphic novel. So it's just absolutely insanity. It is just dark and dirty vampire blood and just guts, and it's really well shot, and it's a cool series. I play a guy, Gary Cutler. He's just kind of a business guy trying to come in and scoop up one of the main characters' one of his undertakings, and it doesn't end up going particularly well for my character, but I loved working on it. I got to meet Seth and Evan, and it was great. I worked with Jackie Earl Haley. He's a big time veteran in the business. He's one of the best. I love Jackie. So yeah, it was very, very cool.
And the last one I want to add to, actually, let's see, there's something else I saw on here I wanted to tell you about. You were in, actually, I went by it. Actually, hang on. Let's see, you were in The Frenchman, you were in Boom Man, Days, Dreams, The Reunion.
Yeah.
You're in Dear Mom, even though it does sound like a greeting card. But and you were actually in MacGyver.
Yeah. Yep. I play a MacGyver villain. That was a check mark on my bucket list. So
and the last ones I did, in fact, just found it. You were in War and the Outwars and the Angels. That actually has a really nice tone to it. It could be a good book.
Yeah, Outlaws and Angels. It's a Western. It's one of the last Westerns I've done here in New Mexico. Great. You get a chance, watch it. It's just a down and dirty, old school style Western. So yeah, loved being a part of that. Francesca Eastwood is the star of that, and Luke Wilson's in it, and a bunch of others. So it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and do a little plug for Luke Wilson. Love to have him on the show. Hey, if you're in contact with him, maybe you can persuade him to be a guest. But yeah. He actually, the first time I heard about Luke Wilson was, I didn't know he was one of the Olsen twins, number one, and he was in Stargirl, and he's actually really good. He's a good actor.
He is good. Yep, absolutely. Very good.
But we're wrapping up the show. It's a real, actually, I didn't want to wrap it up just yet. We have 5 minutes left. But anyway, had a brain fart. Sorry. So I'm going to pass the show over to you guys with the last 5 minutes. First thing I'm going to ask you is social media. And I'm going to start off with you. But the first question I want to ask you, how can our fans and listeners follow you? Are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at themartylindsey, at Twitter at themartylindsey, and then what else am I on? Yeah, I'm on Facebook. You know, Facebook seems to limit the amount of people you can have as friends, but yeah, I'm on all those. Facebook's Marty Lindsey, just Marty Lindsey. So you can follow me, and I have a fan page on Facebook that I try and upload all my videos and links and stuff and highlights of what I'm working on. So you can go there too.
Yeah, it's funny. In 13 minutes, we sort of packed in a lot of highlights about what I've gotten over. And I'm saying, never. I promise when we do a part 2, you will have more time. 13 minutes, I'm like, okay, best class and back class, this one.
That's all right. That's right.
And what about you, Lisa? You know, how can people follow you?
Well, the easiest way is through our show, Pink is In Show. Our hashtag is Pink is In Show. So we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. So that's the easiest way to reach me. Or you can just search me up on Lisa Crawford on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. Now, I do have a couple of questions for you guys for off the air. But wrapping up, our fans and listeners can follow us on Facebook. If you're watching, like, message, subscribe. If you're following on YouTube, hit the bell icon to be notified when brand new interviews and content is available. We're wrapping up our interview segment. It was an honor. I just want to say thank you very much. And to our fans, thank you for watching. Until we meet again, catch you later. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.